Oh, hey, didn't see you there. This is something I've been thinking about for a while now, and I don't really know where I stand on the issue because it seems kind of complex, and I don't know how to broach into it, so I'll just start talking and we'll see if it makes sense later on. So, with the advent of like modern day entertainment technology, there's a lot of cool pluses. Like, we have people able to self-publish their own books. Before, you had to go through a traditional publisher and self-publishing was super hard. Now pretty much anybody can do it, especially with something like Kindle Direct. You also have everyone being able to release songs. Like, anyone can just pay money and have their song on Spotify. With things like YouTube, anyone can make content, though for the most part, like TV show stuff is still tied behind one streaming service or another. Though with everybody competing for original content, it seems like there's a plethora of stuff there as well. Additionally, for music, you have lots of indie options there too. You have your SoundCloud. Like, a lot of big rappers get their starts on SoundCloud. We've seen many examples of people on YouTube becoming musicians because of their followings there. And for books, things like Wattpad and AuthorTube are just alternative ways for people to build an audience and then get a book published one way or another. And what that ultimately means is that more books than ever are getting published. More content than ever is getting made and put in front of people. And the barriers that used to exist, networks not letting a TV show through, or publishers not letting a book through, the whole typical curation system is gone. There's a ton of pluses to that. Like, there is now more niche options available for everyone than there's ever been. Especially, like, think about podcasts. If you want to listen to a podcast about pretty much any subject in the entire world, there's 100 podcasts or more about it. And that's kind of awesome. As somebody that's a little bit nerdy, and I've liked things that aren't always the biggest, most popular thing, though at this point nerd culture is mainstream. That's been true for a while now. But it's always nice when you find something niche like that specifically appeals to you directly. There's nothing wrong with that, obviously. That's an awesome thing. And we as younger people, millennials, Gen Z people, we know the advantages that this world can bring. My main question here today, and the one that kind of haunts me as I think about this stuff on like another level, is what did we lose with the advantages that we gained? What is the main thing that I think that we're going to miss out on and the future generations are going to miss out on that was such an awesome thing about experienced media? For me, there's two big things that we're going to be missing out in this new future that we have for ourselves. The first, which I think is most prevalent, especially in music, impermanence. So in the age of Twitter and the age of Instagram and like everything needs to be snappy and super fast, heck, I edit these videos so that I cut out any like significant blank space. The transience of media is more prevalent now than it has ever been, and I think that that's only going to get worse. And I do think there's some significant downsides there. With young people, myself included, there is somewhat of a nature of if something is older than X number of time, it depends on the medium, it's kind of over and not worth talking about anymore. Now, books, thankfully, are one of those things that it kind of breaks the mold, maybe because they're harder to get into. There's less people who are reading. The people that are reading are more passionate about finding shared experiences. And so, like, with books, I can talk about The Way of Kings, which is a book that came out years ago, I think like 2010 or something. Yeah, 2010. And I can find people that are willing to listen to content about that and read that book. Now, like, there's still tons of people reading that. It's less transient than the other mediums. But what about music? Albums come out. There are so many albums that come out, and they're so short, 30 minutes to an hour. The album is gone, and then people forget about it. And if you're listening to something that's older than some amount of time, nobody's talking about it anymore. Movies, I feel like, are the same. And even then, like, there's less of them, so it's not as much as music. But if something big comes out on Netflix, everybody watches it, everybody talks about it. There's the same for TV shows on Netflix, Disney Plus, The Mandalorian, Stranger Things, things like that. Comes out, everyone talks about it, time passes, boom, it's gone. And if you try to talk about it with your friends online, they've all kind of moved on because there's so many other things for us to spend our time on. The sheer quantity of content available that is good and interesting to us has made all of it seem less valuable by the fact that we can't sit and enjoy it for very long. Heck, as a booktuber, I'm reading 9 to 10 books a month right now, which is a crazy pace, but that's what I'm doing. And there's no time to ruminate or fangirl over something the way that you normally would for a significant period of time. When I was a kid, you read The Lord of the Rings and you talked about The Lord of the Rings for 2 years. It helped that the movies were coming out, so it stayed kind of relevant. But things moved at a slower pace back then. Yeah, this is me yelling at the cloud and telling young people to get off my lawn. I'm just talking about things we've lost here. And I've already alluded to it multiple times, so I'm going to go ahead and say it here. The second major thing that we've lost is the ability to have these shared communal experiences with the things that we love. As the quantity of all these things goes up, even if the quality is still there, and that's assuming a lot, and this is nothing against good self-published books, but if anyone can do it, there's a lot of crap out there. Every single person has so many nuanced options for experiencing the media that they want to experience that the likelihood of coming across a group and loving the same thing for any significant amount of time is so low. I just find it tragic. Like, we're missing something huge that I feel like we used to have. Here's another old man story. Back when I was a kid, there was a TV show, and it still exists now, but no one cares. It was called American Idol. When American Idol's first 2 to 4 seasons were on the air, it was so big, it was like essentially inescapable. Everything was about American Idol. Everyone was talking about American Idol. Every radio show that you changed to on a morning radio program was talking about the votes for that week. The show was getting stupid amounts of ratings because every single person tuned in to watch this thing. And there was something kind of magical. As much as American Idol is kind of a silly thing, there's something magical about everyone experiencing a thing together and being able to share that with everyone. You remember when Pokemon Go came out? Like that kind of thing. It's so rare these days. Will another TV show or movie or book or anything ever get the widespread, complete saturation that things used to when everyone's interests are, like I said, it's a good thing, spread across all the different things they might like? The answer is, I don't know, probably not. And that's kind of lame. I wish that we were able to absorb things and be fans of them for longer. And I wish that we were all able to gather around the same things and all talk about them the way things kind of used to be. Is there a way we can facilitate that? A way we can keep all of this interest that we have and yet still foster a community that is able to flock to a single thing and still be able to enjoy things together instead of everyone enjoying things separately? I don't have an answer to this question. It's just things I've been musing about. Do you guys have thoughts? Is this something you've ever thought about? It just feels weird that in my, maybe this is an age thing. As I'm getting closer to 30, I'm now recognizing the value that was some of the, curation tools that used to exist. Of course, nothing is 100%, but, there used to be some kind of curation in place where a thing could come out, and then, because of its curated nature, everyone knew to expect something specific from that thing and then be able to enjoy that thing at a certain level of what they kind of wanted it to be, what they expected it to be. Now, the closest thing we have is jumping on Twitter and seeing what's trending and seeing outrage machine, because of course a vocal minority will always hate everything. And because the vocal minority is so loud sometimes, it's impossible to get a real feel for anything. And because everything is a free-for-all, it's really hard to judge quality of anything without just flipping a coin and seeing if it's good or bad. I don't have answers to these questions. Does anyone else think about this? Does anyone else have an answer to this question that I haven't seen? Do you have a completely different take? Am I crazy? The people that I've been friends with on BookTube and the people that I follow on BookTube are fighting back against this, I think, because there's more of a share. We want to do buddy reads. We want to do read-alongs or readathons. We want to read the books that our friends are reading. We want to read the books that are popular on BookTube in the circles that we like. Once again, the circles that we like may be super, super, super broken down into tiny factions, which is okay. I don't think there's a problem with that inherently. I just wish that we were able to have some of that and didn't lose everything. I do think BookTube is doing a pretty good job with this, but society as a whole is just not at all. We don't know how to handle these ridiculous, my friend talks about, it's like putting your mouth on a fire hose and just turning it on. That's all the content we have these days. You just have to figure out what's worth watching. You better watch it on time or your friends aren't going to talk about it with you, and there'll be nobody else to talk about it with online. Does anyone else care about the shared communal aspect of engaging in hobby media? Is it, maybe that's just me, I don't know. Please leave your thoughts on this topic, or really any other topic. I'm just here to chat with people. Down below in the comments, leave a like if you thought this was interesting. Leave a dislike if you think I'm completely crazy and off base. If you'd like to become part of this community and share in some of the like communal experiences and spend time with the things that I like to talk about in BookTube, and I like to also spread the word about the people that I follow. I want to try to like support some of that community that I think we've lost in the like factionization of hobbies. And if you'd like to be part of that, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, you get notifications when I post a new video. I hope you all are staying safe and sane in this crazy time that we are in. There's also something so much in John Mayer's live stream last night. Yeah, I'm about to go off on a mini tangent. I'm watching John Mayer's live stream last night, and he mentioned something that the only positive thing about the situation, I'm not going to say it, is that it's something that, unlike the rest of the trends that I talked about this whole time, everyone in the entire world is experiencing it to some level. We're all kind of dealing with the same crap, and our countries are starting to do some of the same procedures. It's in some ways, it's this horrible thing. It's not a good thing, but there can be a good benefit of it, which is we are all actually kind of equalized in a weird space. It's weird to watch celebrities doing live streams from their home. And somebody mentioned this, like you're watching celebrities who are normally super edited and they're given like scripts, like actors are given scripts to follow. And when you see them at home and they're stuck quarantined and nobody's handing them information, they just kind of come across as like awkward, regular people. I don't know if you guys have seen any of that, but it's super weird and like kind of cool in a way. Because like, yeah, that's what us people on YouTube are. We're just random people doing our best to like talk about things in a normal person fashion. We don't have anybody feeding us things or making the things we're doing looking nicer. And so we kind of like, it's a great equalizer in a weird way. Anyway, I don't want to go off on another tangent. Thank you guys for watching this video. I love you all. I hope you guys are enjoying some of the positive aspects of this, even though it's a sucky situation for everyone. Have a great day.